heroics, hot hands, and some guy named Randy. Plus, a battle of the unbeatens, a barn burner in the West, and Odell is out. We're talking MLB World Series and NFL today on Tailgaters. Coming right up.
So creative.
Hello and welcome into Tailgaters. My name is JJ Angelo. This is Shane Palma. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
JJ, I need you fired up right now.
Okay.
Fire! It's so cold outside.
It
We
is,
kind of need
yeah.
some warmth in here. A little bit of fire.
We do.
Randy Arozarena. You said a guy named Randy. I can't not start by talking about Randy Arozarena. How did people not know about him during? I know he was a rookie.
Yeah.
But radio silence when it came to anyone talking about him potentially being a star or even a startable, consistent player in this league.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, this guy now, I think it's in the most home runs in playoff history by a single player, am I right? That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Most hits and most runs at well. If I had the answer as to why no one was talking about this guy, I would give it to you, but I really don't
You'd probably
know.
be an MLB scout right now.
I would be a scout. I'd be doing this professionally, but unfortunately I am not. So let's start at probably one of the craziest games we've had in a while.
Oh
Probably
my
the
gosh.
craziest one I've seen
Ending
since.
wise, yes. I mean, back and forth the entire
Truly,
time.
yeah.
See, at the end of the game, Brett Phillips,
Brett
former
Phillips.
Royal, coming in the clutch first.
Yeah.
Playoff, postseason at bat for Brett Phillips. Lines one right into right center field. Chris Taylor bobbles it, boots it, throws it home. Run already scores. Randy Arozarena coming around third. Think he trips. Maybe he shouldn't have gone. Could be caught in a rundown. Might be going to extra innings there. Not Austin Barnes. Will Smith.
Will Smith, yeah.
He bobbles the ball. Arozarena scores. Rays win that game. But then the Dodgers win the next game after that. Dodgers are currently up 3-2 in this series. So my prediction is not going to be correct. The Rays in 6 will not be right. I'm just shocked at how the Rays can come back out after a win like that and lose. That's what I don't understand.
Truly. I was honestly looking at the hopes for the Dodgers after that game just being completely shattered. Because that's one that, how do you respond to that?
I know.
The Dodgers, and they responded so well. Clayton Kershaw took them out, and he responded beautifully.
For the first time ever in the playoffs, he responded
Yeah.
beautifully to a loss like that.
So, the Dodgers are up 3-2. Game 6 is tonight. It's Blake Snell versus Tony Gonsolin. Tony Gonsolin, the last time he pitched in this series, was the only time the Rays got the lead first. Are we going to see a repeat of that with the Rays bats tonight?
You know, you just have to try. I said it before the start. Blake Snell is the X factor of this series. He needs to go deep. He needs to give the Rays a chance to get to their bullpen later. It can't come in the 4th inning. Can't come in the 5th inning. He has to be stretched out. Maybe the 7th inning, that's when you can start to look at your bullpen. We look at the past few games. Yarborough, he gave up a few runs, but he's really your opener. He only goes for about 3 innings anyway. Charlie Morton struggled, and Glasnow struggled the last game. If you don't have consistent pitching as the Rays, that's supposed to be your strength.
Yeah.
That's the core of your team, is the pitching right there, and then you have the pieces like Lau and Arozarena around that. If you can't pitch, this series is over tonight.
So, what you're saying is, does Snell have the up over Gonsolin, or is it going to come down
It's
to
honestly, it could go either way.
Yeah.
Snell is so inconsistent. He's gone from having an ERA above 4.5 in a season to winning the Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
Which one are we going to get tonight? I think that still remains to be seen.
I think it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think it's going to be, like you said, a real duel on the mound that we would expect. I think it's going to come down to the bats, and it's going to come down to if the Rays can get up ahead early. If not, I just don't know. I think the Dodgers just want it more. They're so close to tasting that sweet, sweet victory they've craved for so long.
I told you, what else do the Dodgers possibly need to win a championship? Honestly, what else could you add to this team? Maybe more bullpen depth? That's about it. Don't touch the lineup.
No.
Don't touch the starting rotation.
Definitely not.
This team is fantastic all the way around. If they can't win it this year, I really don't know what they need to do.
Well, yeah, I think all credit goes to the Rays just for their ability to win 2 games in the series with a bunch of, I mean, I don't want to say no names, but just people that no one really knows
Not
about.
household names like
Not
Mookie
household
Betts and
names.
Bellinger, Randy Arozarena, G-Man Choi, all these guys coming out of nowhere. it's kind of actually fun to watch.
They are, and they're definitely making a name for themselves this series, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them develop as it goes on.
Absolutely.
So, what's your final prediction? Dodgers win it tonight, Dodgers win it tomorrow, Rays in 7?
I kind of want to stick with the Rays. I want to have the optimism. I know as a Yankee fan, probably weird to root for an American League team, especially one in your own division.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Rays are a fun team.
I'll be
honest.
Fun.
They beat the Yankees for a reason. This is their year. They were on a roll between the Yankees and the Astros. I think the Rays win this one in 7. Randy Rosarania, how many more home runs is he going to hit? What's that record going to be? I honestly think 2 more. I think he's going to hit 2 more. I think this is going to go to a Game 7. I said it before. I think he wins the MVP of the series before all this started. Rays in 7.
I like your prediction for a Rosarania. He is so much fun.
Deserves it. He deserves it.
I think on the other end, I think the Dodgers are going to win it in 7. Rays win it tonight. They get the bat going early. Dodgers close it out in 7 games. But nonetheless, I think this has been a series beyond any of our expectations of just greatness. It could have. I think a lot of people were saying Dodgers in 6. I think some thought Dodgers 5, maybe even 4. If you look at if you compare lineups, it looks maybe like this is a sweep. But man, the Rays are a fun team.
Resilient team, fun team to watch. Absolutely. I think they got heart in them, and I think we'll see it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we move on to our good friend and other source of excitement, the National Football League.
I love him.
He's great, man. And to get us started, we have a quick recap from 23 Sports' own Darnell Tabor. Take it away.
In our first matchup of the week, we have the Eagles beating the Giants 21-22. And here you see an 80-yard run by Daniel Jones. Next, we have an undefeated matchup between the Steelers and Titans, which the Steelers just survived just barely, 27-24. Here we have the Bills beating the Jets 18-10, but this was the only score of the game. Next, we have the Panthers and Saints, and Teddy Bridgewater throws an absolute bomb to David Moore for 74 yards, but the Saints still would outlast them 27-24. Here, the Packers are rolling still, as Aaron Rodgers here throws a touchdown throw to Devontae Adams as the Packers win 35-20. Baker Mayfield throws 5 touchdowns in a shootout with the Bengals as OBJ goes out. Here, we have the Falcons trying to run down the clock, but it just didn't work out as the Lions would go on to win the game the next drive. The next play, we have Tom Brady throwing an absolute beautiful throw to Stephen Miller in the end zone as the Buccaneers win 35-20. We have another NFC East matchup where we have a nice throw from Kyle Allen to Terry McLaurin as the Redskins win 25-3. Here we have where the Niners would dominate the Patriots 33-6 in Foxborough. Here we have an NFC West battle, and this may be the play of the week here from DK Metcalf as he just chases down Buda Baker, and the Cardinals would go on to win in overtime. Monday night, we have where the Rams would dominate the Bears offense 24-10.
And welcome back, and welcome on, Darnell. Thank you for the wonderful package, and thanks for joining our show. Anything you got to say?
No, nothing much.
What'd you think about the NFL this week?
What I thought about the NFL? There were some really entertaining games, especially with the Browns and Bengals. But a really big storyline from that one was Odell Beckham going down with an ACL injury.
Yeah.
So honestly, I was looking at the Browns' schedule, and I don't think they'll really be tested much, especially if Baker Mayfield can really replicate, not that necessarily, but can get into that certain realm of performance. I really think they'll be okay. They can make the playoffs.
JJ, you said at the beginning of the show OBJ is out. Was that out for the season in terms of that? Or do you mean he's out of Cleveland?
I think this pushes him over the edge, out of the border, the
it's
state
not the Browns' fault they tore his ACL.
It's really not, but I think this just gives the Browns... There's so much talk about him leaving Cleveland that this might just help them a little bit to get rid of him. And I think a question for you, Darnell, there's been a lot of talk is Baker Mayfield going to be more effective? Does he have too many options, too many mouths to feed? Is he going to be more effective with or without OBJ in there?
I think definitely if you have a weapon like OBJ, you definitely want him in.
Yeah.
More so because what was that, the Dallas game where he was a huge part of the offense and just really almost carried them.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
for OBJ
3 touchdowns. So it's like you definitely want to have a weapon. I guess I see what you're saying with the mouths to feed.
Yeah.
But I think you definitely want a player like Odell Beckham Jr. out there.
I don't know. Baker Mayfield 5 touchdown passes as soon as OBJ went out.
Yeah,
Not saying Odell's the problem, but maybe if Baker doesn't need to force the ball into Beckham's hands, it might take a little bit of pressure off him.
I do. I think there is just a certain pressure when you have a guy like OBJ on your team to get him the ball. Just such a hot personality as OBJ is. He wants attention. That's just the type of guy he is. Nothing wrong with that. He just wants. I think he deserves a lot of the attention he gets. But there's just a lot of pressure to get the ball to him.
Absolutely.
Well, the Browns are 5-2. If you flip that around, you get the Cowboys, which are now 2-5.
We have to talk about that.
I think we're gonna talk about them as much as you might not want to. I got a question for you, Darnell.
Yes.
Is Mike McCarthy done?
No.
No? Why not?
Mike McCarthy can't be done. Well, you obviously lose your starting quarterback, who a lot of people say, is he superstar, is he star? We don't know yet. So I feel like that's not really a fair shake if you can't even get a full season with your starting quarterback.
Sure. Yeah. What do you think?
Ben DiNucci's the starter now. That's fun. Listen, Andy Dalton goes down last week. Dak Prescott's the future of that franchise.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones will not sit idly by and watch this team suffer. I refuse to believe that he's going to just throw in the towel. They're going to go 2-14. That's not going to happen.
No.
What they need to do is trade for a quarterback now, because they have the offensive weapons. As soon as they start to get some of their offensive linemen back, this is a very good offense that can work and can score points and compete. Obviously, against Washington, they weren't able to do that. They need to trade for Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Dolphins made it official. Tua Tagovailoa is their starter.
Yeah.
I would assume for the rest of the season. Not saying that Dolphins wouldn't need Fitzpatrick there just to continue to mentor Tua throughout this process. But if you're the Cowboys, you have some extra draft capital because you start to unload your defense. Everson Griffin actually just got traded today for a 6th-round pick. I think Jerry Jones needs to make a move for quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe even Kirk Cousins, Mitch Trubisky as a stopgap filler to get back to Dak Prescott. One of those names needs to be on the move to Dallas. Otherwise, the Cowboys could very well finish with one of the worst records in the NFL.
Very much. I know plenty of Minnesota Vikings fans that would love to see Kirk Cousins not on their team.
Absolutely.
Well, another team that has no question about their quarterback, surprisingly enough, the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger are back in business. Business is booming, like you said a couple weeks ago.
Booming.
And they don't have AB, they don't have Le'Veon Bell, but they have plenty of other guys. Chase Claypool and James Conner are doing just fine.
And Deontay Johnson. He came back this week.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns. He looked amazing. 15 targets for him.
Yeah.
Ben loves him.
So they are 6-0. Question for you, Darnell.
Yes.
Can they beat the Chiefs? I think they got a chance.
It just really depends. I think they can, especially if we go with if they can get home field advantage in the playoffs. Pittsburgh's always been a tough place to play. So, and then you have a coach like Mike Tomlin who has a really, really great system. So maybe, I don't know, but you never want to get bet against Pat Mahomes.
No, you truly can't. I think that the Steelers right now in the AFC though do have the best chance to beat the Chiefs.
Listen, the Steelers have arguably the best defense in the league. It's the Steel Curtain 2.0. You look at some of the guys they have there. They lost Devin Bush, but I mean, they have so many pieces. I love TJ Watt. He was a steal of a draft pick in that draft class. He should not have fallen that late. That team is great on both ends. However, the Chiefs' offense, I still think, even with the loss that they suffered, they're so explosive, and their defense is proving to be just as lethal. We saw them shut down the Broncos. I know it was a snow game. Chiefs still put up a lot of points and scored on defense. They didn't even need to do a whole lot with their offense to dismantle that Denver team. So I'd go with the Chiefs on that one.
Okay, talking about offense, I have a statement to make. Not really much to discuss.
And I'm not going to argue you.
I don't know. Maybe you
I
won't.
don't know. I'd just like to argue. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, go for it. But here is my statement. Offensive Rookie of the Year has already been decided 7 weeks through football. It's Justin Herbert.
Oh, yes. Sign his name on the paper, seal it, deliver it. It's his.
I love this guy. He's doing great. But Darnell.
I don't know. Maybe it might just be media storylines, but if Tua can play well.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
He's got to light it up through those 9 weeks that he has, though.
I mean, Tua, he's a fun guy. He can run. He has a great arm, so it's just you just never know what you can get into it. So
I think what it's going to come down to with if Herbert can win that award, can he win Offensive Rookie of the Year? Is can the team win?
Yeah.
We've seen him now. He's 1-4 with the Chargers. He's played a lot of these teams close. Tampa, New Orleans, a lot of these playoff teams, he's been right there in there with them. He's had one of the better games for a quarterback against that Tampa Bay defense so far this year. However, if he can't win, the Chargers don't get many more than they have already. I think they're, 2-5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's totally set in stone, but I mean he has the talent to get there. I love him too.
Yeah, sure. I think the winning does play a factor regardless of if you're a rookie or not.
Absolutely.
So last week we talked about the NFC East, aka the NFC Least. We want to talk about the NFC West on the other side of the coast. Probably
NFC Best.
NFC Best, truly. The comparison there is, the contrast there is incredible. Definitely the best league or the best conference in the NFL, right? Yeah.
With the best game of the season between the Seahawks and the Cardinals on
talk about
Sunday
that
night.
first.
My goodness.
Yeah. Incredible game. Overtime goes down to the last minute. What did it?
I think that was a
Queensbury?
battle between the potential 2 MVPs this season, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, duking it out. Murray, I'll be honest, looked like the better quarterback. Russell Wilson had some miscues, some missed throws, especially there in overtime. He kind of cost the team the game there.